I'm Huon Hooke, and this is The Real Review. The wine we're tasting today is Domaine Chandon's Special Cuvée 205, which is an Upper Yarra Valley vintage sparkling wine, 2015 vintage. So, Domaine Chandon needs no introduction to anybody in Australia who drinks sparkling wine. It is one of our top sparkling wine producers, making a big range of sparkling wines. But this one is very much the top of the tree at Domaine Chandon. But even the most expensive wines are not ridiculously priced. I think this is a $50 wine and it's great value. The interesting story about it, it comes from a very cool vineyard in the high parts of the Upper Yarra Valley where the best sparkling fruit comes from. So it's very delicate, high acid, natural acid, good for aging long term. It's had 5 years on its lees. And the name Cuvée 205 refers to the size of the barrels. Now this wine has all been fermented, all the components of it, of which there were Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, have all been fermented in small champagne style barrels called PS, which are 205 litres. The normal Burgundy barrel is 228 litres. So they're quite small, and that's the traditional size in champagne. Not many people use it anymore, but originally it was designed that way so that when you put the grapes in the press, you get 2,050 litres produced from a press load, and that qualifies as the premier cuvée. That will fit into exactly 10 barrels of that size. So that's how they determine the barrel size. So that's just a little bit of fun about the history of this wine. I think it's the first time Chandon have made this wine. It's a really, really interesting wine. Dan Buckle, the winemaker, is I think an outstanding fellow who's put a great deal of study into sparkling wine and champagne production. So let's taste the wine. The first thing you notice is that it's got a straw colour, medium depth straw colour. It's not brilliantly white, which you'd expect if it was all Chardonnay perhaps, but this has got plenty of Pinot in it, so that gives it a slightly tinged colour. And the bouquet, wow, that is just such a complex nose. It's got elements of barrel fermentation there. It's not so much an oaky smell, but it's a smell that you get from wine that's been fermented in the barrels. It's a slight oxidative effect that gives to the fruit. Matures it nicely. 5 years on the lees following that gives this really, really complex, nutty, bready, toasty kind of bouquet. You can still taste the fruit, but the impact of aged characters on top make it so much more interesting. And again, as you might expect, the richness of the wine has been really enhanced by all of that work that they've done on fermenting in barrels, long time on the lees, 5 years, and really high quality fruit going behind it. It's a full-bodied, rich, round, soft, complex wine. A lot of nutty nougat, honey, so a little bit of touch of honey in there, dried fruits of various kinds. You can sit and taste that wine for a long time and not run out of adjectives. I would get quite carried away if I was allowed to. The length of the wine is quite extraordinary. That's the aftertaste and how long it lingers. And the finish is dry. It's not too dry. It's soft, beautifully balanced. It's not a bone-dry wine. There is some liqueur in it, as there is in most sparkling wines, but not enough to give you a sweet aftertaste. It's beautifully balanced, very moorish, very refreshing, and a good food wine because of its weight. So, how did we score this wine? We gave it 96 points out of 100, which is a very strong gold ribbon score. It's a top rate ranking. Or rating. It's number 3 out of 34 2015 sparkling wines from Australia blended with Pinot Noir. So that's a pretty high, that's a very high rating and very high ranking. We are suggesting you drink this now until the next 5 or 6 years. It's already mature, it's ready to go right now, but it won't fall apart in the next 5 years, no problem. And for that wine to be $50 a bottle, considering the amount of work that's gone into making it, the amount of time, the quality of the fruit involved, I think it's an absolute gift. So, what would you serve with a wine like this? We did ask the winemaker, Dan Buckle, for his opinions, and he's probably put more legwork into this than anybody else. And because it's such a rich, complex wine, it's not just a straightforward, just chuck a few oysters on a plate kind of wine. You can do interesting things with food and a wine like this. And he suggested chicken and kumquat tagine. So that's kind of like a Moroccan casserole involving some chicken with fruit. Really quite an interesting idea. I think it'll work very well. And his other alternative is fromage dauphinois, which is a creamy white mould French cheese which has a lot of character and a lot of flavour. And he even goes as far as to say, put that onto caraway rye sourdough. Okay, Dan, I'll take your word for that. Cheers.